Thank you so much, Tijan Bah, who is a graduate student at the University of Ohio, a concerned Gambian for that matter. I mean, Mr. Bah, what do you make of the recently concluded GALA protest? It was mostly led by, young people like you.
Yes, so thank you very much, Balde, for having me. I'm a fan of this platform. I've seen a couple of videos, and it's always very interesting, and I'm happy to be on this platform. So on the gala protest, I think it's a very interesting event. What happened? Um, I I thought this came at a very very crucial time um, in the like political space in the Gambia, and I think it's very interesting in the fact that this is a group of young people. I mean, who we can say are not like like party aligned or party based young people. These are just a group of young people from different walks of life. I mean, so it's very interesting that we can have that set of young people who will come for a specific cause. I mean, which have grown to a wider cause, so to say. And I think it's a movement that is gaining traction very very quickly. And and I think the the Gala movement itself, from what I've seen on the social media space and what commentators have been saying from both the opposition and the ruling party and officials from government, I think the influence or probably the soft power that this group of young people have is underrated. Right? I think it's underrated. So, I mean, this group of young people are not probably seen as people that yield a lot of power, as in holding public office or having that kind of political influence. But what I think these young people have is various platforms, right? I think they have a space which is also very powerful, which is social media, and I think they are using it very very effectively. And I think they can be a catalyst for major change in Gambia. It will be very interesting how things will turn out from these events that have happened recently. But I think this is a force to be reckoned with. I mean,
Why do you say they are underrated?
because I've seen a lot of commentary where probably their influence is kind of watered down, right? Or they are seen as probably a bunch of disgruntled young men, you know, who maybe may not have the kind of resources to effect the kind of change that they would want to happen, right? But I think these are young people who are not just ordinary young people. Right? Most of them are very educated. Most of them have strong following, right? And they have, they have international networks. They have links, right? And that can be very very powerful. Like you can reference what is happening in Kenya and in other parts of Africa. And I mean, this kind of movement can change governments. I think we are in that stage where, like, these kind of movements have a lot of power, right? But I think they're probably what they can do is watered down in the kind of commentary that I'm hearing, especially from like government officials. Right? And I think it's something that the government of the day need to be very concerned about. And you want to listen to these people because it can have consequences. I mean, for any government, right? Right. We've seen in Kenya that the government have done a lot of concessions, and these young people can still come out and demand more. And mostly when they demand, things happen, right? Although Gambia, the population is not that much, and but these people have a lot of influence.
I mean, what do you think about the implications? The fact that there was a time, few weeks ago, they wanted to register it as a non-charity or NGO, and later it kind of catapulted. I mean, there was no way they could register it as charity. You think the government has recognized that that Gala could be a force to be reckoned with, so there is a
Yes.
way to stop it, to stop them?
So from what I understand, GALA, from the inception of the whole initiative, have evolved. So what I understand is that they are trying to make it a more structured body and institution where it will be like an organization which will have structures all over the country, and they will be able to push for the reforms that they want to do. I am not sure if I will want to see Gala like be kind of an institution or something like that. But I feel it should be a free movement which will stand for, which will come up when issues come up, right? But I'm not sure about it going into being an organization per se with distinct structures. But I think it's also part of the political space, as it's part of the should I say the development of the democratic space. And I think they should be, they should be given the space, to express themselves and to, to talk on issues, to demand change, when things are not right. And I personally feel like it's a right cause, because I mean, all their demands for me are very, very genuine.
Okay, let's move on to the issue about the former President Jaya Jammeh. Were you expecting that by this time the former president would gather so much momentum in terms of what people are saying almost on a daily basis about him, about his assets, and that a protest was, I mean, staged mainly to look at the looted assets, and then a probe committee was also set up. So now, former president is now becoming more and more. His issues are now discussed in the limelight almost on a daily basis. What is your take on this?
I mean, for me, it's not something that it's surprising, right? I think yeah, Jammeh ruled for 22 years, and he literally controlled the whole government. You know, literally controlled the minds of the whole country. So even though Yahya Jammeh left, even before the whole looted assets thing came up, even before the commissions came up, the ghost of Yahya Jammeh was always there. It's always gonna be there. I mean, it's almost 2 decades of almost one person controlling the country, one person controlling the government. So you can sense that he have so much power, so much influence, and so much resources. So Yajame is going to be somebody that we're going to talk about for the longest time, right? On the issue of him being still relevant to public discourse, I think Yajame will always be relevant, right? Because he amassed so much resources, he has so much influence, he has so much influence on so many people, and I think Yajame is an expert in mind games, and with the audios that are coming in, those voice audios, WhatsApp audios that they keep occasionally keep sharing, talking about coming back and stuff like that. I think he's just trying to test the waters to see what will be the reaction of people. You know, yeah, Jamie will always have his loyalists. I mean, because he have so much influence on certain people, and still do. But I'm not sure whether he have that influence to make like any kind of relevant change to our systems right now. I think he will still be relevant. I think he will still be around. His ghost will still be around, whether he is in the country or not. And I think he still pose some kind of threat to national security.
How?
I mean, Jammeh, 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 if you look at in the context of his power, his influence, right, within the within government, within the security institutions. I mean, you could still say some soldiers are still loyal to him. I mean, whether it's whether it's conscious or unconscious, whether it's biased or unbiased, you still have people that are loyal to him. I mean, he touched the lives of many Gambians, right? And he still have some remnants in government, right? In some probably some public institutions, right? So in some sense, he can still like stoke some antagonism within a certain group of people who are still disgruntled with the system. So you have to remember that the Ajame had a lot of people probably under his books, right? Or a lot of people that he influenced, a lot of people that he changed their lives. So those people will still have some kind of loyalty towards him. And I'm not sure if they are that powerful, but he still is relevant to our discourse. So the fact that people are still talking about his looted assets, and it's like an inherited problem for the current government. That shows the kind of influence this man have. And I think since he have a political party running itself, and he have a breakaway faction from his original party that he formed, that shows that he still have some relevance. The fact that also he still have some loyalists in parliament is also some kind of influence, right? So I think he's still influential, but not as not as he would like, not as he would like to.
Do you see a political comeback for him, a big tsunami like the case of America, Donald Trump?
No way. I think the context of Gambia is very very different. I mean, I think the Gambia have a very unique political system, right? And the way things work in Gambia will be probably different from what you'll have in the States, right? Political parties in Gambia mostly are based on individuals rather than an institution, right? And you could see even with some other political parties, when those figures leave, the party just goes on a natural death, right? So his faction of the APRC, you know, is on coma, you might say, and or it's going to die a natural death anyway. So there's no way, yeah, Jammeh can come back. And the change that happened in Gambia, you could say, was very monumental, because this was like a this was like a generational change. It's a generation that have outgrown Jammeh system. So, I mean, this generation is very aware, right? More politically mature, and stuff like that. So even his rhetorics or his influence tactics will not work with this generation that we have. So I think we have a lot way to go, but we have come far also. And also the democratic space cannot be reversed in Gambia, right? Right? Jammeh's system was a dictatorship, and there is no way we can go into that kind of system again. So for me, yeah, Jammeh can never have the kind of power and influence that he had, and I don't see him, coming to have some kind of political like political clout or anything like that.
When you said earlier that he has like sort of a mind games, he's playing mind games on the Gambian, people. Can you pinpoint on any of the utterances he made in many of his audios that he has released since he
Yes,
went on exile?
So I've listened to a couple of audios. I mean, I can remember the last one that was targeted towards one of his loyalists. I mean, former loyalists, should I say, in Parliament. Um, the lady who, something like the lady who is in Parliament right now. I mean, I listened to the voice message. It was about 50 minutes long, and it was more like pitting the lady against his own people. Right? It was more like trying to gain support from loyalists based on deception, should I say, that this camp are traitors, they have betrayed me, so traitors are not supposed to be part of us, we are supposed to be loyal, I am still in charge and stuff like that. So for me, that is a kind of playing of mind games, and you could see that he was trying to test the waters to try to see how to, shape public opinion towards issues. And you could say, you could hear things like, when I was there, Gambia was safe. Now people are not safe. Even the rats know that, like, they were safe. Now people are dying in hospitals and stuff like that. I think that is a way of trying to, shape people's mind through his own narrative. Say that, Gambia was safe with me. Now it's not safe. I can do it better. I can I can guarantee you safety. And trying to play the Marco man, trying to say that I can come and nothing will happen to me. So I think it's just mind games that Jammeh is playing. He's done it so well for 22 years, but I think he's run out of luck.
Finally, when we met last winter, you said this government, that is the Barrow government, has no sense of direction. You know,
Yes, yes,
do you want to double down on that
yes,
uh,
yes,
remark you
yes,
made?
yes, yes, yes. So I said that I I think that the government lacks some kind of direction for where they want to take this country. Right? We are a least developed country with almost majority of the people living in poverty. And even if you type about Gambia, mostly what you will see is that it's a poor country, it's a least developed country, high rates of poverty and stuff like that. You know, and from the development agenda that is presented to Gambians, I mean, it's very vague, right? And I don't think we are a nation that is inspired, right? Like, if you compare to, to leadership in other countries that is cropping up like Botswana, you can see that there is a sense of direction. Either we are going to be a country that is going to be run in a certain way, or either we are a services based economy, or we are agriculture based economy, or we are leaning towards tech, right? And you will understand that this country is built around a certain group of people. Maybe this country is built around young people, because this is the main resource of the country, right? So the government is building roads, right? And if most of what we'll hear from the information minister is that the government is trying to build infrastructure, right? They have built more roads than the two previous governments, and but that is very, like, narrow. Like, you want to have a sense of, this is where we are going in 20, 30 years. This is how we see Gambia, right? So yeah, Jammeh had a vision 2020, right? And I could remember, like, it was shown in some way that we want to be like Singapore, right? We want this kind of development, this kind of development. We had some kind of agenda where, like, you want to use agriculture as a catalyst for development. Like, you want to build industries around agriculture while creating employment and stuff like that, right? So I don't see that happening in the Gambia. What I see is just development projects cropping up here and there. So building of schools, buildings of roads, but it doesn't It doesn't say this is where we are heading. This is the agenda. So in America they have the MAGA agenda. It's like make America great again. So it's trade, is we are cutting down aid and stuff like that. So and if you talk to leaders in other countries, they have a kind of a vision for the country. So I think we're just doing piecemeal projects here and there, no sense of direction. Like right now, we are even confused about like how we want to set up our public institutions. We the I think the draft constitution was supposed to create some kind of system where we are heading to, right? So I mean, so for me, I think we should find a niche, like what is our strength as a people, what are the resources that we have, right? Some countries, like their development is based on oil, like most of the Gulf states is oil. Some countries, some Asian countries were based on like education. Like so, you want to find a niche. Also, how do you want to develop? Like, and you want to communicate that across the board. So somebody in primary schools, in primary school, know that this is Gambia. This is my history. This is where we are from. This is where we are. This is where we are heading. This is where we are heading as a nation. This is where we are heading as people. But I think we've missed that. I think we're trying to develop in a very haphazard way, right? And so you can have this project here, but there is no vision. There is no collective sense of this is who am I as a Gambian. This is me as the government. This is where we are heading to. And I think if we don't have a sense of direction, we will just be going places where we don't want to go. So we are just borrowing, doing mega projects here and there, and it's not taking us anywhere.
Well, thank you so much, Tijan Bah, graduate student at the University of Ohio and a concerned Gambian, talking to me on the issues um, revolving around politics and the Jammeh issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bande, for having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.